Hi guys, Andy here from Guitarworks.org.uk, and in this video I'm going to aim to show you a couple of the options for entry-level guitars for your children or for yourself. Now, I talked about last time the kind of guitar you want to be getting for your child that's starting off, and I suggested that Valencia were a very good make. They're one of many. There are some other makes out there. I can't for the life of me remember the actual ones. It will probably come to me as we're doing the video. They're all very similar in price, but I've just found these Valencia guitars to be bulletproof. You know, I mean, I bought some for a local school that I teach in Oakthorpe, and you know, 3 years later they're still going. The strings haven't broken yet. There's a couple of little dings and dongs, but I mean they pretty much do what they say on the tin. So I'll just start off with showing you the half-size Valencia, which is this here. Invariably it's got my son's pick in. This is the one that I bought for my son when he started playing, and it's the ones that I have for the children at school. So, you know, they were sort of 7 years old, 8 years old. Some of the bigger ones, we had a couple of 3/4 size guitars, which to be honest with you will do you up until you're sort of 12ish. In terms of having just an acoustic hanging around the house. I've actually taken this out to lessons. I'm sorry to admit it. It's been in the back of my car. I've forgotten my guitar. I've taken this teaching. And I can play it perfectly well. So, you know, testament to the fact that, I mean, I haven't got huge hands, but you could do bar chords with it. You've got your simple chords you can do with it. Obviously it's much better tuned for a child size, but this size here should do you for your you know, your 7-8 year old, and it's going to cost you about 45 quid. And just to give you a brief outline of what this is sort of made up of, this is called the body. Obviously the strings, you've got the bridge here, you've got the neck. The fretboard is the thin layer of wood that sits on top of the neck. These metal lines, horizontal lines, well they're horizontal or vertical depending on how you hold the guitar, are called the frets, and when you press down they're the things that help you to make the note. If there were no lines here, of course you'd be absolutely, well, apart from being lost, I'd probably be lost. They help you distinguish which note you're playing and play a nice note. This is the head, these are the tuning pegs, and away you go. So look, this will keep your child going through a debut grade 1, and like I said, they'll be able to play "Hey, I don't feel like doing anything, I just wanna lay in my bed." You know, those starting songs that they might want to play. So okay, so they get playing, they stick with it, and you know, they start getting good, and we start to look at grade 2 maybe, or they start to want to think about creating more sound, or you know, just progressing a little bit, and you're thinking, oh, what do I get them for an electric? Well, again, I've got to say, I mean, having looked at lots and lots of different gear, my recommendation for the smaller children is the Stag 3/4 size Rocket. Looks exactly like a Fender Strat. It's wired exactly like a Fender Strat, i.e., well, if you know what you're talking about, the tone doesn't actually do anything on the bridge pickup. But you know, it's a great little guitar. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's got 20 frets, so you can solo in A minor pentatonic. Again, if you know what you're talking about, you'll know what that means. Again, I've taken this to. I haven't gigged with it, but I have taken it to a lesson before. Now, because it's a shorter scale guitar and we're tuning it to concert pitch, the one negative aspect of that is that the strings are more loose than they would be on, say, a standard size guitar like my Fender Tele. Now what that means is that, well, a couple of things. It might go out of tune a bit more often, and also if you decide to really belt it one, you get that kind of out of tune sound on the E string. So a couple of ways of combating that. You play further back where there's less tension, and you tune more often. But this is a great guitar. My son's outgrown it now, only because he wanted to be a big boy and play a proper full-size guitar. But you know what? This is a great guitar still, and my students use this in the studio, and they love playing it. You know, really love playing it. Again, I think this was about 60 quid. You can't go wrong for 60 quid. I don't think it's. Some of them are set up okay. And when I mean set up, again, what I mentioned before about the height of the strings above the fretboard. Even more important on an electric guitar, that it's low down. Now, with these guitars, with any student that buys these and comes in, the first thing I check is the action. And I've been, you know, fiddling about with guitars now for quite some time. So, in about 5 minutes, I can change the action from being unplayable to something that's fairly decent. If you've got a good guitar teacher, he should be able to do the same thing for you, or you can take it in to be done. I wouldn't suggest that because it's going to cost a bit of money, but there's a truss, and I don't suggest you do this at home unless you know what you're doing, but there's a truss rod, a piece of metal that runs all the way through here, and if you look down the neck of the guitar, I wonder if you can, just looking at the monitor there, you'll see that this is a fairly straight neck. Now, some necks you may find have got a camber. Now, when that happens, that means that you can't get the strings down too low because you're going to get fret buzz. So the first thing I do is I tighten up the truss rod here to straighten up the neck. I then adjust the bridge and lower the saddles or raise them just to get the right height. But again, your guitar teacher should be able to do that if you have one. If you're in London, give me a call on the guitarworks.org.uk website and bring it down to me, and I'll take a little look at it free of charge if it's if you come and have a lesson or two with me. Anyway, so that's great. Now, amp, again, PV Viper 15. It's really, really light. Again, bulletproof. Got a host of sounds. Got some great features as well. This is your input. You've got a headphones output. Actually, you can take that line out there and record with it when you get a bit more together. And you've also got this auxiliary input, which if you take a mini phone stereo jack, plug the other end into your iPod, you can play along to tunes. And actually, I've got one handy here. I hope I've got something not too embarrassing. There you go. So you've got a song playing through there. So there you go. You can play along to a track. You've got 4 presets here. Well, actually there are 3 banks of 4 presets, and what that basically means is that you can play about with your sounds and save that sound as a preset, and it means you can always come back to it. Okay, so my son's got a rock sound on the second. Whoa, on number 3. Sounds great. There we go, we've got a less pronounced sound but delayed. To get your Brian May stuff happening. Press that button, you can go. We've got loads of effects here. Octavider, phaser, rotary. Don't do that if you've taken any pills. Bit of George Harrison there. Pitch shifter. The list goes on. You've got loads of stuff. You've got its own delay and reverb settings. So a lot of amps have got the delay and reverb as part of your switching effects thing, so you can either have reverb, or you can have chorus, or you can have delay. With this you can have delay, reverb and effects as well, and you can have a dirty sound or a clean sound. Now this thing, if you shop well, you're going to get it for 90 quid. So 90 plus 70, you're looking at 160 quid. Now for a setup that's as good as this, it's great. In fact, I've done. You can hear how loud that is. I've actually done gigs at the school with this when we do the Christmas plays and stuff. I don't even have it on 2 or 3, it's loud enough. You could probably do rehearsals with it as well. So it's a great entry level thing. Now the guitar, again, your child's going to probably grow out of this one day. When they do, you're then looking at, like I said, I don't have one here, a Yamaha Pacifica. They do an 012 model or a 112 model. The 012 is great. It's got a humbucker, 2 single coils. These are the pickups. A single coil is what you see here, a single coil. A humbucker is basically 2 single coils together. It would look like 2 single coils together there. It cancels out the hum. That's for another video. We'll go over that. But you basically get something that's a full-size version of this for about 130 quid. If you want to pay a bit more money, I think 180, 90 quid, you can get the upper level one, which is the 112, slightly better finish, better colours, and you've got a coil tap which changes the humbucker to a single coil, so it gives you some tonal variation. Very good again. And then the next amp you'd want to get from the one up. I mean, you'd always keep this in your garage or your man cave, as I call this place. Or you can move up to a more powerful valve type thing like the Fender Super Champ XD I've got here, which is a great amp, great amp, love them to bits. And then really, you know, you're looking at maybe a bigger type combo, but again, that's for another lesson. And again, if there's some what's the word, some interest in that, then I'll do another video on maybe a combo, a bigger combo. Although I haven't got one here and have to get hold of one to show you. But that's it. So moving on from there, really, if you want to look at full-size guitars, you've got the Yamaha Pacifica. If you've got a bit more money to spend, you could go for one of the Fender Mexican range. They do Telecasters and Stratocasters in the Mexican range. Now, they're Mexican built.
It's 12:45.
Sorry about that, lots of noises going on here. The Mexican guitars differ to the American ones in a couple of very minor ways. You've actually got 21 frets on a Mexican guitar, as you would have done actually with the original guitars from the 50s and 60s. The American made guitars at some point decided to put an extra fret on, and the Japanese ones as well. So you get 22, which means that you can play in B minor pentatonic, if that's, well, actually you could play in D minor pentatonic on the shape 5, but that's for another lesson again. Now this is a Mexican telly. I bought this off a student. It's a bit weathered now. It's got lots of scratches and stuff. I put some bare knuckle pickups in it, but you know what? It's my favourite guitar. I've got Fender Strats and Les Pauls and all sorts of things, and you know what, I'm just not afraid to take this out to a gig or in a pub somewhere and really blast it and just put it along the side there. I'm not worried about scratching it or anything else, and it just plays beautifully. What can I say? You know, if you learn to set up your instrument, you've got something that will stay with you for a long time. I think these are about sort of 380. The American models, I think, start from about 600 maybe. Of course, they're superior in probably the finishing, but for me the finish on this is great. So that's that. I hope that's been helpful. We have again, I talked about acoustic guitars in my last video, so I'm not going to go over them here, but if you want any more information about what you think you should buy, then please post a comment and I will respond to you on the Guitarworks 1000 YouTube channel. You can email me, info@guitarworks.org.uk, Twitter guitar_works, and Facebook Guitarworks. And this is me, Andy, signing off, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye.